This is a reading for Melissa and Jason, and we are going to look at your individual charts first and then put the charts together and see what type of compatibility shows up, any long-term indicators, strengths, potential challenges. Just a beautiful thing to look at husband and wife joined together in a bi-wheel of the energies kind of dancing together. So I am thankful that you wanted this reading done. It's a great way to get to know each other a little bit deeper as far as communication styles and what each other need to really flourish in a relationship. So, Melissa, I have yours up first. Like we talked about before, you are a Gemini rising, an Aquarius sun, and a Gemini moon. So we feel a lot of this air energy. Your three indicators of conscious personality are all in air. So, a Gemini rising person is the initiator of the communication in all new settings and takes on this student-like mentality of wanting to collect data, understand before being understood. They like to be correct when they make their first moves and new interactions. They do that by first gathering information. They can be very objective in their pursuit for collecting information. So sometimes they can come off a little bit reserved at first. It's interesting because when you think of Gemini energy, you think of more of that yang energy of getting out there and doing and connecting and moving. But the Gemini rising person, the mind is so active. This mercurial energy is first one of being the intake. So it is less likely that you're going to put your foot in your mouth of saying something that wouldn't be perceived well because your natural instinct is to observe first, see what's going on, and then take your turn with the conversation. So, as a partner, this usually relates to someone who is perceived as a good listener, a good socializer. You can read the room pretty quickly and you know how to jump into the conversation. You do that because you're listening, you're watching, and you're getting the energy reads off of the situations around you. So people are inspired by you with that because it seems so effortless in your ability to move through different social groups or find people who you wouldn't think have anything to relate to, but then this Gemini rising person comes along and can kind of be like the social lubricant for the conversation. And you have this ability to get people talking. So with your Aquarius sun as well, the more exotic or unconventional the person is or the crowd is, the setting itself, the more you are going to be one of the first people to read the room correctly and feel comfortable with getting people to come out of their shells. So this type of air heavy person is usually a type that has a lot of different types of people that are interested in them because your ability to pull information out of people feels good to people who don't know how to get the conversation started themselves. So you might find yourself around people who are usually quite introverted or seem a little bit standoffish, but you help them be seen and you make it clear that you want to hear their story. And so you have all these people kind of blooming around you in life. And I could see you being a very sociable person if that is what you wanted to do. When you are looking at like romantic interests, then we move looking towards your Venus and your Mars signs. Venus is the feminine energy of someone who identifies as female to see what you are attracted to and how you express yourself. So I say attracted to loosely here because you'll see Mars as more of that sexual attraction, what really catches your eye and gets the sparks flying for you. But the Venus energy is what your discernment is. Is this person my type? Like, am I going to give myself room to explore this romantically? That's the Venus is going to decide that information for you. So Venus in Aquarius is comfortable for you because you already have your sun there. So your love language and your ego understand the same dialect here. And the things that are important for the Venus in Aquarius is going to be that you still maintain this autonomy of yourself, this independence. The Aquarius Venus is sometimes not forthright with how much independence they actually need because they come off like the humanitarian heart, and sometimes they can get this reputation for maybe being a little bit more partnership oriented than they actually are once you're in it. So you want to see how people are doing. You naturally want to be helping people rise up to their potential. You want the group to flourish as a whole. So you have a lot of love to give. But when you get in relationship with Aquarius Venus, you'll see that the person has a lot of love to give on the humanitarian and altruistic level. When it comes to the one-on-one partnership level, they are very loving, yes, but they also need room to not feel like they are being devoured by a partner. So this is somebody who is still going to want to maintain a level of who she is. She needs to still be able to express herself. This is that yang energy. You still have to be moving and doing things. You're not just here to receive input from a partner. So you might give the expression in a relationship as somebody who takes a leadership role more. You might be seen as more of a dominant energy in your relationships because you have this yang energy in this Venus sign. So you might be a little bit more already knowing what you want to do or what you're looking for in things. So you might attract people who are on more of the opposite side of that, who are more submissive, who are a little bit unsure because you have this strong presence in your love life that you're going to do what you want to do. Do you want to come with me? But it's still going to happen. I still need to do what I want to do. And it matches your sun sign very well. So people who are interested in relationships with you will feel like they're not being fooled. Like you are who you are, and you're like that in love too. So it's kind of a nice um, transparency you have with that. You're not leading people on. You are already who you are. So for your Mars in Capricorn in the seventh house, it looks like you have the potential to be attracted to people who are ambitious in their own right, that, maybe they're not the loudest one in the room, but they have the maybe the most logical head on their shoulders. Maybe you are attracted to people who seem like they've accomplished a lot in life, that they set goals and they achieve them. The Capricorn Mars is the exalted form of Mars, and it really is like this engine of power to reach whatever goal. Sky's the limit. So when you're looking for that in somebody, you might notice the person who is the CEO first, or when you get hired somewhere, on the job, finding someone, you might be attracted to the boss themselves. Or if someone comes into the room and they own their own business, they're doing their own thing. They're not just waiting for life to be handed to them, they're seeking it out themselves. That's the kind of person that's going to really get your attention right away. And it's almost like you prefer someone who has a little bit of a quietness to them with that Capricorn. You don't want the loudest person that is just full of hot air. You want the person who's methodical, who thought it through, who's not just talking out of both sides of their mouth. It's more attractive to you that there's some things that aren't being said. And I think that's such a nice shift to your big three rising, because your rising in Gemini is such a conversation, uh, like you have such a good ability to talk to all different kinds of people. So I think that it's funny that you're attracted to this Capricorn energy because I could see that being like a fun challenge for you. Like, look at that guy over there. He's been quiet. Like, I wonder what's going on. Like, I want to know what is going on behind his eyes. Like, I want to pick his brain. Like, you might even say that to yourself sometimes. Like, I just want to like pick people's brains. I want to get to know what they're not saying. Like, that's more of a fun challenge for you than people who are just talking nonstop and so easy to read. There's no mental stimulation in that. And with all that air energy, you have to be people need to leave you guessing. You like a puzzle. You want to figure people out. Um, the Mars in the seventh house is sometimes seen as an indicator that you might face some challenges in relationships as far as like butting heads or seeing bouts of anger, frustration with partners, and that can be, people sometimes can think, oh no, like I don't want Mars in the seventh house. Am I going to get like this bullying relationship? Well, possibly. So you got to be careful for yourself that when you're attracted to people, that you're not just going for people who, really successful, maybe that's great, or like really sure of themselves, like the confidence is there, but you don't want to be like a second class citizen in your relationships. You want to be somebody who's perceived as an equal. And that needs to be what happens for you. And it can be through trial and error in life. Sometimes you have to date a few people that are going to teach you that, hey, if I don't take control of my own will and I don't really like put my foot down and create strong boundaries, then people are going to take advantage of me. And I am going to have to feel that Mars energy in other people if I don't claim it for myself. You have to be willing to fight for yourself, or people are going to show you how to use the Mars energy by showing it against you. That's what the seventh house Mars represents. Whatever falls in the seventh house, you're potentially giving that power to somebody else because they're going to teach you how to use that energy and they're going to direct it at you. So in the case of Mars, which can be the planet of war, there's the potential that you face aggressiveness in partnerships because until you're ready to own that side of you yourself, that you're really self-assertive and you're not letting people just, get what they need at your expense, that you're willing to fight for what you need. And once you learn that, then the next relationship goes a little bit smoother. But it wouldn't surprise me if you told me in your past you had a few like hot-headed partners or like really like self-centered partners, because Mars is going to teach you how to see that in yourself by showing you like extreme examples sometimes. So hopefully you've seen that, you've learned how to get that in yourself so that you don't have to learn that through other people. Let's move on to Jason's chart now so we can see the same how these energies play in his chart too. So we have Jason here now, and he has an interesting story. I was looking at his chart earlier, and I just saw a lot of contact with his Chiron. So I know I heard some of his backstory, and if you're just looking at this chart, it looks like he is someone who maybe had some early wounds with parents. He's got a opposition to Saturn. He's got an opposition to his IC. He's got an opposition to his whole fourth house here. Uranus is in the fourth house, excuse me. So there's a lot of chaos with home life, and Neptune's in the fourth house. So there is a lot of confusion, disillusionment, maybe drug problems with parents, confusion about who is the authority in the household. Chiron opposing Saturn is just like the authoritarian, or supposed to be authoritative relationship with parents turning authoritarian and more of a ruling with the iron fist, kind of not being heard, not being seen, um being wounded by authority in your life, in the home life. So I feel for Jason in his experiences. The thing about Chiron is interesting. If that really is how it plays out, then that turns out to be your greatest strength. You become someone who's called to maybe work with people who have gone through similar things and work with, sounds vocational, but it could just be in any walk of life, any encounters that you have, that you become someone who's willing to see that pain in other people and help heal them in some way. Doesn't mean you have to get paid for it, but that becomes something that helps you heal on your own journey. For your big three, though, for looking at this as the sake of the partnership reading, the Virgo rising, the Taurus sun, and the Aquarius moon. So we have two earths and an air. We have two fixed and immutable. So I like this balance of energies here. The Virgo rising person is a great complement to the Gemini rising person because they are both ruled by Mercury. So the Mercury energy in both of your charts are strong. It's the chart ruler for both of you. So right away, you already are going into being two people who are very mercurial minded. That's usually people who are quick thinking, quick reacting, able to really observe situations. They find themselves being useful to other people a lot because they're such quick learners. So you get on the job and you learn how to do it first, and now you're being of service to everybody else in the department because you're the one that actually is capable and competent right away. And it's one of that mutable energy of being able to find order out of chaos in life. So, a Virgo rising person, I usually always associate that with some type of being drawn to chaos in life because it's the Virgo rising gift to make order out of chaos. So if you are a Virgo rising, then it's probably going to happen a few times in your life that you've been in situations that are chaotic, where you are the person that comes in and helps bring order and kind of clean up messes. So it can be a role that makes you have to assume this level of responsibility earlier in life, and sometimes that makes you somebody who feels like they've always kind of like been on the clock, like they've always been working some kind of job because they've always been responsible and they've been able to be like a helper, or you've been asked to like understand things or give up something of yourself for the greater good. And it's the sign of the servants, and it doesn't have to be like a destitute situation, but someone who's always serving. So people are needing you in life, and because you're in their life, they become better themselves. So this is one of those, karmic houses, the sixth and the 12th house. It's that Pisces Virgo axis. It's the energy of the personal karma, the collective karma that you're serving to clean up someone else's mess or your own from the past life or this life. But it's one that you're going to find yourself that people are presenting messes to you in life, and you help them and you help yourself by finding orderliness and making sense of messy situations. So, so you're probably pretty resilient, and you're probably used to quick thinking and figuring things out on the fly and like readjusting as needed to become adaptable early in life and probably all throughout life. That's going to be a theme for you. So that works well with the Gemini rising because she also has that type of mentality like, hey, this didn't work. That's okay. Let's switch. Let's try something else. Let's not get stuck. Let's not get in like self pity or grandiose thinking. Let's just do something different, see how it turns out. Let's keep our mind towards like finding solutions. And I think you both can be like really great students in that way. Like you're always trying to figure out the formula, like get the equation to work, and there's a lot of mental activity for that. So no one leaves the other behind. You're both very quick and ready for it. You're here for that kind of challenge. So that's nice. The Taurus sun is not just a Taurus sun, it's in a conjunction with Jupiter. So I think that's nice. It gives you a little boost to this Taurus energy. So Taurus is this earth sign that really loves stability and it really appreciates having security, predictability. It's really benefits from like beautiful surroundings and peaceful, harmonious situations. But when it's in a conjunction with Jupiter, it kind of gives it this other sense. It kind of makes it larger. It's this expanded energy, and it's infused with like this optimism and this wisdom and this longing for some type of adventure. So it kind of shakes up that Taurus energy. It doesn't pigeonhole it in like, okay, I need a 9 to 5 and I need to have making this much money and I need the predictability in my calendar for the whole month. It's kind of like, hey, I'm going to roll the dice a little bit in life, and I think it's going to work out for me. And I like that because it complements Melissa's ninth house sun, because Jupiter is naturally Sagittarius ruled, which is the ninth house oriented energy. So it's like you guys both are in kind of a similar vibe with that too. There's like this Sagittarius before I knew Melissa was a Aquarius. I've really had the Sagittarius feel from her, and that I think made sense when I saw the ninth house energy. And now when I see Jupiter next to Taurus this close, it gives me the Sagittarius energy too. And it says, okay, so you both are thinking alike with the risings, and you kind of both want this, you want more in life than just the material. And Taurus can get stuck in material things, but you have this Jupiter that's always going to push you a little bit for a higher perspective. So I think that plays well together when you both join in on that type of thinking, that you two could do really great daydreaming together, planning, future dreams, like what if kind of scenarios of, you know, if 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 all things could go in your favor, like what would things look like? I think that would be a really fun question for you two. I think you both have really great imaginative ability to dream big. So going to the Aquarius moon, that only makes me agree about that again with a Sagittarius. Oops, did I lose this? Excuse me. With the Aquarius moon and the Aquarius sun of Melissa, I think we're getting into this emotional understanding of each other's natures. And it's in the same language of the innovation of Aquarius and the ability to see the big picture and not get stuck in objective thinking. Aquarius is a fixed sign, so there is a level of stubbornness, but the Aquarius itself is all about innovation. And as long as you stick towards that type of thinking and don't get stuck in stubbornness battles, there's this beautiful ability to keep evolving. And it's like you both want that. And it plays into this intelligence side that you both respect, intellect, and there's a problem solving. And I think it's the same nature. So it's without even having to find the words, you guys can already be on the same page. So there's moments for even like telepathy. Aquarius is very like electrical and it's quick things that happen suddenly. So there's like this sudden insightfulness that comes from both of you that just kind of click and get each other. And it's um it's that electricity between you two that just can travel back and forth. So, not every relationship has that. So right away that's something really beautiful that is happening here. Plus I just love a fifth house moon. So I know there are kids in the picture. Fifth house moons love kids, love being around kids. Sometimes they act like a kid. So it's really a fun moon position to have. So I think anytime you feel stuck in anything, get around kids and you're going to feel that like playfulness again. And that's where you really feel emotionally secure, is where you're able to act like a kid, be around kids, or just be like creative and like really seeing like the playfulness of life, which is which is a Leo theme. So that works really nicely um, for the charts. And let's put them together though before we get too much about exactly how things lay up. So we're going to put both charts together and see what planets are actually talking to each other.